All right. Good morning. My name is Kevin Carpenter. I'm a volunteer at CppCon, and I'm joined here today with Clare Macrae. And I say good morning, but I guess it should be good evening because you're a bit farther away from me.
Yes, I'm in Cambridge in England. It's about 5 o'clock in the afternoon here now.
And I bet your weather's probably nicer than the 95 to 105 degrees we will head to today down here in Arizona.
It was pretty warm being out in the garden earlier today. We're due for a heat wave in a few days' time, which I dread to think about.
Oh man, and you probably have a bit more humidity than we have here in the desert, so that's even worse. That's for sure.
Yes.
So, how many of the CPP conferences have you been to? Have you been to all of them, or?
I've been to just one. I went to the very first one in 2014 in Bellevue.
And it's funny because when I was looking about things this morning, I saw the trip report that you had from there, and so welcome back. Now you get to see Colorado, right? Because now we've moved.
Yes, I did go to CPP now, C++ now in Aspen a few years ago.
Oh, okay.
So I think that's going to be a very different experience, though.
Yeah. Hopefully. I mean, the resort looks beautiful. So they say that the flight is actually a couple hours less when you're coming from the other side of the world. Is that true? I didn't think Colorado to Seattle was that much myself, but
honestly, I haven't looked at it yet. I haven't even got that far to thinking that far ahead.
Oh, man. So I understand that this year you're presenting a talk, quickly testing legacy C++ code with approval tests, correct?
That's right. Yes, I'm really excited about it.
So this is your first time presenting at CppCon, but you presented this at CPP on C and CPP France?
That's CPPP. That's right. Yes, in Paris.
Okay. I knew I was missing one of the P's there, but I haven't been. It's like I've only been on the conferences on this side of the world, so I'm not that fortunate yet. So I know that you've been working on this library for a while, as I understand, looking at the abstract. What made you pick this topic? What gets you excited about the approval tests?
Well, a few years ago, just briefly, hang on. So back in 2015, where I was working at the time, I was leading a team that had taken over responsibility for some powerful scientific software, a user interface for some powerful software. And we needed to make some changes, so we needed to get the software under test. And despite my best efforts, it took me a month to even start to separate out all of the data and the algorithms from the graphical user interface. It was a multiple page wizard. It was really powerful, important functionality. But ever since then, I've been on a kind of mission to try and find out if I could have done that more effectively. And I reached the point where I felt I'd learned enough about some ideas in testing that don't seem to be well known in the C++ community. I just thought there's a story to tell there, and I'd like to start sharing it. And I've also found in speaking at conferences, you learn a lot more preparing as well. So it's kind of a two-way thing. I want to share what I've learned, but I want to learn more.
That's excellent. And so this part with legacy code, I'm kind of smiling about because, I think there's so much of it. Even the company I'm at, we took over a bunch. And I happened to be lucky enough to take Phil Nash's class last year at CppCon using Catch. But as I quickly found out with our legacy code, things were really way too... The coupling was really, there was a lot of it. So being able to turn around and write in a test case wasn't as easy as you thought without a lot of scaffolding.
That's exactly right. And that's a really good point. What's different about approval tests is you can use it before you've even started to break the code down. So with approval tests, you specify some inputs to put into the code that you're testing. And it provides a really streamlined way of saving the output, capturing the results. So maybe in an ideal world, you'd write small units of tests. Undoubtedly you would, and maybe introduce mocking and things like that. The stuff I'm talking about is valuable to help you get to that stage where you can write the granular tests. It's not just useful in legacy code. It's useful when you've got new code that's hard to test, or you want to feed large amounts of data in, large amounts of inputs, and see the results really, really quickly. It's an amazingly powerful technique for such a small body of code.
Well, I'm excited to see the talk. I will end up being there. And I know that, the part where you're saying it's useful for even new code, I mean, that was even Matt Godbolt had echoed out on Twitter that he wanted to use it for Compiler Explorer. And we know that that's been pretty recent and that everybody loves. So to that point, I guess we'll look forward to the rest of the talk when we see you at CppCon.
Thank you very much indeed. I'm really looking forward to it. Great to meet you, Kevin.
Great to meet you too, Claire. We'll talk soon.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.